Okay, good morning. Hope everybody's having a good day. So, today we're going to talk about absolute value inequalities. So, some things to know about absolute value inequalities is first you want to make sure that the absolute value is by itself. Then write two problems and solve. So I call this the isolating. So get your absolute value all by itself. So this right here, get that all by itself. So that one is already done. Where then get this all by itself and this all by itself. So this one's already done. So for this one, I need to move this plus 3. So in order to do that and to move it to the other side, I would subtract 3 from both sides. So 2 is greater than the absolute value of v plus 2. And then for this one, so normally if these were parentheses, we would multiply that into the parentheses or distribute. So the opposite of distributing is to divide everything by -2. So the absolute value of h minus 2. Now, when you divide by a negative, you need to flip the sign. And -2 divided by -2 is +1. So, okay, so then you're going to follow all of your inequality rules given for linear inequalities. So if you need to look back at your linear inequalities, those are back in Unit 2. So after you make your inequality isolated, so after it's all by itself, then you are going to make two equations. So like you did with just your equal sign, so you're solving. So the first one, you're just going to drop the bars and everything's going to stay the same. So 3c minus 6 is greater than or equal to 3. And then the second one, you're going to drop the bars, so 3c minus 6. Flip the sign, so instead of it being this way, it's going to be the opposite. And it changes to a negative. So and change positive and negative. So I flipped the sign and changed the positive to a negative or negative to positive. So for instance, then on this one, so my first equation, I'm just going to drop the bars and everything's going to stay the same. And my second one, I need to make this negative, so -2, and I'm going to change the sign, 3 plus 2. So I'll drop the bars, everything's the same. flip the sign and change it to a negative. Okay. And then you're just going to solve all the equations. So I'm going to add 6. So 3c is greater than or equal to 9. And then divide by 3. So c is greater than or equal to 3. Then same thing over here, so add 6. So 3c is less than or equal to 3. And divide by 3. So c is less than or equal to 1. Okay, and you will just do that for all of these. So subtract 2. So 0 is greater than v. Oops, subtract 2, subtract 2. So negative 2 minus 2 is negative 4. Add 2. So h is less than 3. Add 2. So h is greater than 1. So just remember, if you divide by a negative, to flip the sign, because we didn't really have that here except for this one time. So just don't lose practice doing that. Okay. So then if we've got an inequality for a story problem. So when measured on a particular scale, the weight of an object may vary. So that may vary is going to be your key word, from its actual weight of at most 0.4 pounds. If reading is on the scale is 125.2 pounds, find the range of actual weight of the object. So range is another word to tell you that this is going to be the absolute value. So absolute value. So at most, so is this right here. So it's at most 0.4 pounds, so that 0.4 is going to go out here. And then x, it's always x minus on the inside of your absolute value, the 125.2. So this is already isolated, so you would go ahead and make your two equations. So x minus 125.2 is equal to 0.4, and x minus 125.2 is greater than or equal to negative 0.4. So add the 125.2 to both sides. X is less than or equal to 125.6 pounds. And then add the 125.2. So x is greater than or equal to, so 124.8 pounds. Okay. So that's where I am going to stop with this video. And tune in for the second one, second and last one for your graphing inequalities. Okay, have a good day.